Thanks to everyone for taking the time to come in and to work through questions in this manner. Earlier this afternoon, we announced a series of short-time and short-term positioning activities across the institution as it relates to our budget. The announcement that came forward to today is an effort on behalf of the institution to align our resources and our expenditures. It is not an effort underway that is a series of cuts. It's not an effort that's underway that's a point of panic. It's an effort underway by an institution to strategically align its resources and its expenditures. And it's a series of efforts that aren't any different than anything that we've done at this institution in the past 5 to 10 to 15 to 25 or 100 years. Over our decade of leadership between 2000 and 2012, we put forward a mission statement that said people come first. And if you look at that mission statement that existed for all of Dr. Stanton's leadership, that mission statement that existed for Dr. Nix's leadership, and a mission statement that goes back to the leadership of President Gilbreth, it's a mission statement based on regional service and a mission statement in which the people of this university come first. And what we're doing today is supporting that mission statement and putting our resources around our faculty and around our staff. So the short-term actions that we have taken today allow us to make another round of investments in equity funding and another round of investments in base support for our faculty and for our staff. It would have been easy for us as a senior leadership team to say we're looking at a number of short-term revenue challenges as a result of enrollment downturns and just simply pause on our investment to equity. But that's not the step that we've taken. We've taken a series of steps today that allow us to continue to move forward with the equity investments in the people who provide the heartbeat for the university. Why did we take these measures? If you examine the way in which budgets in American higher education are shifting, we've moved from an era in which support for higher education primarily comes from the state, and we've moved to an era in which support for higher education is increasingly coming from non-state revenues. That's tuition and fees, grants, contracts, sales, and services. But the primary revenue source that drives the operations of this university is through tuition and fees. So anytime there is a temporary reduction in enrollment, that yields a reduction in operating revenues for the university. And over the past 3 years, we have not met our enrollment targets. So as a result of some temporary enrollment issues at the institution, we've instituted a series of short-term reductions that will position us for growth as we move forward. This isn't any different than what any of us move through each night as we balance our books and pay our bills at the end of the month. We're realigning our priorities, putting our priorities back on our people and making investments in faculty and staff salaries. So what have we done? First and foremost, no one's losing their job. I want to dispel that on the front end. There are no reductions in staff. We are putting in place a hiring freeze, but a hiring freeze that allows us to align our resources with the strategic priorities of the institution. The other thing that we've done is we've asked each of the major departments and academic units across the institution to reduce their budgets for the coming academic year by 1.5%. Being mindful that all of this is predicated on enrollment. If we experience enrollment increases throughout the course of the year, then we will revisit these positions. We've also put in place a couple of managerial aspects related to cell phone stipends, vehicular purchases, replacement of computer equipment on campus. All of these are management decisions. In no way do I see anything other than an institution moving through a short-term enrollment downturn, and the actions we're taking today will position us for growth. I'm going to go ahead and hit the question that I know someone's going to ask on the front end. Well, what about football? The decisions today have nothing to do with intercollegiate athletics at East Tennessee State University. The enrollment declines that we've experienced have been historic, and the enrollment decline that we're expecting this fall is totally unrelated to football. If we did not have a football program, I would still be standing here today making this decision. And this is a decision that I've not made unilaterally. It's been a decision made in conjunction with our deans, our academic leadership, and our senior VPs. So without football, we would have a $3.7 million shortfall as a result of enrollment downturns. with football, we have a $3.7 million downturn due to enrollment. So we will manage our way through this, and in fact, football is part of a strategic plan for enrollment growth at the university. And I anticipate that not only with football, with the Fine and Performing Arts Center, with new academic programs that are positioned within the 125 efforts, and a diversity of areas across this great institution, we will move through this temporary position and position ourselves for growth not only next year, but in the years to come. For all intensive purposes, what we're doing today is not anything different than a private business or family does at the end of each month. We're balancing our budgets. This is not a point for panic. There's not a crisis on campus. We will manage our way through this, and we will provide salary enhancements to our faculty and our staff. Our mission statement says people come first. So what we're doing is redirecting our resources to move the needle on faculty and staff salaries. Why is that important? Because our faculty and staff salaries in comparison to peers are, if not at the bottom, near the bottom in any comparison. So in order for us to grow the university, in order for us to keep not only our great faculty and staff, but to bring new faculty and staff to ETSU, we have to find a way to enhance faculty and staff salaries. So you asked the question about reserves, and I didn't do a good job answering your question. You know, there are a lot of things we could have done to just simply muddle our way through this. But we're wanting to be strategic. We're wanting to be strategic to align our resources with our goals and objectives. And our first goal and objective, people come first. So we're plowing our resources back into our people, providing them salary enhancements, and moving on down the road.